I'd like to introduce our first reader. And I'm also going to apologize to him in advance for this. When I asked him about what he wanted to do with his life before he turned to writing, third-year fiction MFA Kelly Elcock told me he always dreamed of marrying into money. Unfortunately for him, he was never too good at impressing girls. Those are his words, not mine. Even though he's now pursuing writing, Kelly hasn't given up his original dream, though. So if you have any questions or comments for him about his reading tonight, you can head down to the Trump Tower valet booth. He typically hangs out around there hitting on women who walk out that are clearly very wealthy. He's typically there every weekday after 5, all day Saturday, and all day Sunday. Let's please welcome Kelly Elcock.
Well, good evening, all. I should have been more ready for that. I'm going to read you an excerpt from a short story I wrote called Poisoned. I'm going to start in a little ways, so I'll give you some context. The narrator's been, hasn't been feeling so well. But had some history with the doctors, right? This morning he's gotten a letter saying, "I'm so sorry I poisoned you those months ago." The letter's anonymous. Here goes. You felt just horrible. At least, according to this letter, you just haven't felt right about what you've done. Which is what again exactly? Poisoned me. Yes, we got that. But the real details about the nature of this poisoning are deficient to the point of, I think, total negation of whatever good you thought you were accomplishing by writing to me. By this point, what does your admission matter from my side of the fence? I've already powered through the worst of it. Perhaps in not the most graceful manner, I admit, but to the place where I've come to see the first glimmers of the rosy-fingered dawn, the rays of hope after the long night, and so on. Maybe you do, in fact, feel just awful. I can't believe this could be as awful as I felt while the poisons took their long-acting effects. Do you awake in panic from your guilt? Has it messed with your vision? Are you still able to consume nutritious food while you deal with your remorse? It could be that you have no idea what I've been through, as I've discovered what is perhaps the most important lesson to be taken from my experience of this long and painful malady, that we are essentially incapable of comprehending the pain of another. Thus, the nonsensical rigmarole of the pain specialists, rated on a scale of 1 to 10 and so on. You say it's an 8. There's no good physical reason why your body should be experiencing the pain of rank 8 on a 1 to 10 scale. Either your statement is false, or your experience is, well, not exactly false, perhaps, but subjective. Oh, I see. It doesn't show on the outside. Something about this lesson feels important. But like they say down at the college, is it really learning that's happening? I mean, I knew something was wrong. I suspected poison, yes, but that was among a host of other possible explanations I concocted as the weeks and then months passed and the tests kept coming up normal. The fact that it was indeed intentional poisoning, after all, feels to me like superfluous information. At the top of the list of questions I'd like to see answered sits that of your identity. If you're Miles, you weasel, then I can, with some justification, scorn you from my position of convalescent vigor and point out how dismally you've failed yet again. You chickened out. If you'd wanted me dead, you should have used a heartier dose. But then, of course, coward that you are, you didn't want me really dead. In your greasy, balding impotence, and having always despised my own peculiar guardian angel, which I'll grant you has at times been perhaps too generous, as it floats me blithely across the tops of the boulders, you wish to carry out your gesture, yet to remain undetectable. Take note once more, you ass, of how little your scurrilous machinations have affected me. Observe how I remain a success with women, including your little brother's girlfriend, while you scramble and pose. Of course you could never actually kill me, you sissy. Your obsession with the so-called genius of serial killers, your fanboy internet communities, may have supplied you with the substances you required to execute your half-assed intentions, but could never supply you with the pure fortitude to carry out your will. Ever the poser, you settled as always for a flaccid substitute, and you know it, which is, I suspect, the issue at the true heart of this ostensible confession of guilt. If you're feeling any remorse now, it's simply that you've lost contact with what was once a source of many, many homosexual jerk-off fantasies. Oh, don't worry, pal. I've always known about you. So maybe over the years, you've had the chance to play me a dirty trick or two, to say years after the fact, when the information is entirely no help at all, tell me, oh yeah, she just talked about you the whole time on that date. I've never been entirely clear of just who you're jealous of, in the possessive sense I mean, as you inevitably began your weird and flamboyant pursuits of every girl I ever made the mistake of letting on in your presence I might be interested in. What a squirrely, sweating creature you are. As I watched you wheedle and whine, bluster and simper, your palms together like some easily identifiable villain, unable to fool even a small child, I wondered how you, with your antics, could possibly explain yourself as the hero of your own movie. Miles, if it is indeed you, I believe I can just about pinpoint the exact occasion. Didn't I change my mind about that tall shot you poured me from the kitchen, feeling not quite right about the effects of the first? How that must have disappointed you that night, your girlfriend already drunk and opening up to me intimately again, making those signals like, I'm needing something other than my boyfriend right now. Another shot, to be entirely honest, would have been just the thing from my side of the fence. Your girlfriend, before she got fat, looked so incredibly like Lily. I wondered where you'd found her, how you'd conned her home, this perfect imitative substitute of Lily. She even looked like her after she got fat. She looked like Lily would have looked like if she got fat. It was all so blatant, so transparent, though I've never known whether, from your side of the fence, the real betrayal was that I clearly wanted to steal her and have a good time, or was rather that I didn't end up doing it, opting instead to saunter off and pop in on your little brother Carl's girlfriend. Carl, if it's you, and I've got good reason from the letter's peculiar tone as well as the phrasing of certain passages to believe it might be, then let me assure you I never bought the story about your helpless victimization at the hands of mental illness. Maybe there are such things as chemical imbalances, irresistible compulsions, bipolar personalities, and so on. But long experience of you has forced me to the conclusion that the reason finding the correct regimen of medications has been so tricky and such a prolonged process in your case is that you're not really mentally ill. You're just an asshole. If I'd had any sense, I'd have seen through you years ago, seeing that slipping me some poison, stabbing me in the back, anything to take me down a notch in your grotesque estimation, was always your goal. Your envy seeps from your pores more noticeably than your famous sham insecurity. Bro, do you mind if are you sure? The girls your age calling my name from the crowd. Didn't that just stew inside you? Other musicians used to ask me if I really thought you had any talent. Yes, your flute playing was absolutely retarded. That is, beyond just it being retarded to be bringing a flute into the act, your playing of it was seriously retarded. Loyal friend that I am, I would, of course, resort to any strategy of evasion handy to dodge the responsibility of the public expression of my true opinion. How apparently vulnerable you always were, how scheming. Talent, I would say to the other musicians, talent isn't a real thing. You spend enough time with the thing, you pick it up. Okay, but what do you really think of his playing? What's your real opinion? Do you enjoy listening to his playing? You see the kind of liabilities your friendship came with. Your poor, sad, confused girlfriend, Jackie, who would be lolling in the room as you got online to check up on those other girls, the ones you really wanted. A suspect, perhaps, but much further down the list, and if she did it, she never would have written a letter of confession. Carl, you manipulative imbecile, if you truly believe I ever had designs on your girlfriend or ex or whatever we're calling her, allow me briefly to describe to you the amount of work that went into that one. She shows up on my porch one night with a bottle of gin. So seemingly effortless, isn't it? While your conquests plod along like some daytime TV teenage morality play, just hammer away at it until it works right, a montage of passionate training sessions, followed by the real substance of the drama, you whining to cute girls about your sorry lot. Perhaps your inability to do anything well parallels somehow your love of sugary treats.